So today I'm gonna be talking about just beyond the birth plan, how doulas transform your journey. So it's great to see there are a number of pregnant moms on here. Hopefully this will be some useful information for you. I'm Tiara Morris. I'm the owner and operator of Total Maternal Support, serving the Triad here in North Carolina. And these just a list of some of the different hats that I wear and the rooms I get to be in and how I get to show up and serve and make an impact in my city, county, and state. But overall, outside of all those different titles and hats, I'm his wife and a mom at the end of the day. So there's a level of lived experience that comes into play. And I just feel like I've been a doula all my life before I ever knew what a doula was. So it's a lot of things that we bring to the forefront with being support. What is a doula? So, did anybody want to take a jab at what a doula is? Cause I get that question a lot. Like, hey, what is a doula? Anybody want to take a jab at it? Or feel like they know what a doula is?
Um,
Don't be shy.
it's like an advocate for a mom that can't advocate for herself.
Okay.
Something like
Yes, an advocate. Any others? I heard a few of y'all on there.
Yeah, I'll add on. We also provide emotional and physical support. Can be during like throughout the entire, I guess, perinatal period, but some focus on birth, some focus on postpartum, but just nurturing mom, kind of being a cheerleader and holding space.
Yes, absolutely. Holding space, advocate. Anyone else had any others they wanted to add? All of those are correct. We do a lot of things for sure. So ultimately, a doula is a trained professional who provides continuous physical, emotional, and informational support to their clients, bridging the gap between clinical care and human connection. So that is the sweet spot. We're able to bridge those gaps, whether it be with your community, and that's just me on my end as a community-based doula. So not only am I filling those gaps when it comes to you in the clinical setting, you and your providers, you and your family, even when it comes to your birth team, but also to the community as a community-based doula. So some of the things that are in scope, of course, supporting expecting persons. Of course, as a birth doula, there are a number of doulas. So the focus today is on that full spectrum birth and postpartum doula because those are the things that I'm trained as. So that's what the scope and the things that I'll be talking about would be aimed at, just for background. But yeah, working with healthcare providers, whether it be your OB or your midwife, providing unbiased and non-judgmental support. So a lot of times I hear people say, "Oh, well, I didn't think I could get a doula because I wanted to have an epidural," and I'm like, "We support however you decide to birth." So there's a stigma that you can't, get any type of medication, or there's only like one type of birth that doula support. And I just want to, demystify that because that's not the case. We unbiasedly and non-judgmentally support however you give birth. We help with preparation and planning, resource navigation, and some of the things that are out of scope. We don't do cervical checks, anything medical. We don't check your blood pressure. Now, blood pressure is one of those things that's very important. So I may encourage you to do it. I might even provide you a blood pressure cuff. But as far as taking those numbers for you and interpreting them and diagnosing you, things of that nature, that is completely out of scope. That would be something on the medical side. So we don't catch or deliver babies. Managing your any complications, prescribe. We don't give medication, things of that nature. I can help like with apps and different things to help you keep up with your medications. But any of the prescribing or actually administering of the medication is out of our scope. And historically, doula just means a woman who serves. And it started from being birth attendants. So birth was done at home historically, right? Right at home in your bed or in your living room or at the elder in your family, the matriarch of your family's home. And they were attended by midwives. So doulas initially just attended births with midwives. So that's where this came from. So at once upon a time, a doula was a cousin, an auntie, a matriarch, someone there to support you through labor, usually a woman, of course, in addition to your midwife who came to deliver you. So here are just some of the benefits that come from having a doula. There are so many of them. And I tell people all the time, you aren't just giving birth to a baby, you are giving birth to a new version of yourself. So you have no reason to do that alone. And it's just not something that's a luxury. I hear that often too. They're like, oh, that's for rich people. No, it's not. Having a doula is something that, especially as a woman of color with all of the disparities and things that are going on, it's not a luxury. It's something that is a right that you should have to choose the support that you have. So this is just going over some of the benefits that doulas bring to birthing spaces. When it comes to like postpartum, you have like clinical benefits, and we've shown reducing the number of needs for like interventions like Pitocin, fewer requests for pain meds. That's not saying we don't support people who have pain management medically, but there's usually a reduction there in the need for that because of the training that we have to help facilitate, birth and things of that nature, reducing the likelihood of cesareans, better APGAR scores for baby, overall better satisfaction. And when it comes to like even in a postpartum space, doula supported births lead to higher breastfeeding success rates and lower rates of postpartum depression. It's really helpful to have somebody there that can be a sounding board, and especially when that care can be culturally congruent, meaning the person that is supporting you can relate to you, right? Looks like you, from the same community as you, may share some experience as you. Because then there's a lack of things like code switching. There's an understanding, there's a resignation of you see me beyond what my outer appearance may be. So the studies show that that is beneficial. And then, of course, a doula doesn't replace your partner or your provider or anything like that. We are here to really kind of bring that team together cohesively with you at the center. So these are just some of the overall benefits physically, emotionally, and overall, doulas have a responsibility, not just to your clients, depending on where you are being supported at, whether it be a birth center, a home birth, in a hospital setting. As a doula, you have a responsibility. We have a responsibility first to our clients. And that's what sets us apart because your provider or whoever is delivering your baby based on that setting, they have certain things that they have to adhere to, whether it be hospital policy, birth center policy, or even as a home birth provider, they have certain things that they have to oblige by, right? Whereas your doula is there to oblige the things that you want for your experience. So when you're looking at a doula, and as far as like what is our responsibility ethically, professionally, we have to maintain the integrity of the profession, just upholding and advancing values, ethics, and knowledge and mission of the profession overall, because things are constantly changing. At once upon a time, they would tell you you can't eat in labor. That's no longer the case. Now they are seeing that actually causes more distress. So now things are just kind of changing. So we have to stay up on all of that information as far as like what's okay and what's not right now, because things change so much. To our clients, to just make sure we're upholding what it is that you want unbiasedly, non-judgmental, and then overall to our professions, the things that we do when we are in these birthing locations, it affects us all. So what one doula may do may be stigmatized amongst all doulas. So it's really important as doulas to stay within our scope, especially when we are in public settings where there's eyes on us. And here overall is some key aspects of the value that doulas bring. So we're looking at continuous support. Unlike medical professionals, doulas are more present throughout the pregnancy, labor, and postpartum, providing constant emotional and physical support. So your doctor may have several patients, just like doulas may have multiple clients. However, when we're in the birthing space with you, it's continuous. I'm there for you and only you. You don't have to split me with any other clients at the time. Our focus is you. And then we're trained with different pain management techniques to help bring comfort, like massage, breathing techniques, and positioning to help manage pain during birth. So that's why you saw the value that we're able to bring because of the trainings that we have. The advocacy, we can advocate for you as the birthing person, your wishes, your preferences with your medical team, as well as empower birthing people to advocate for themselves. I tell people all the time, as a doula, if your client can't speak up for themselves when you're not there, we haven't done our job. Because at the end of the day, I can't always be with you as your doula. So it's imperative that not only do you have that knowledge that I will speak up for you, but I also have to empower you and amplify your voice so you are able to speak up and advocate for yourself. Because I'm not always going to be around. That would be nice, but realistically, I can't always be around. So I want to make sure I'm empowering my clients to be able to speak up as well and amplify their voice. Then we have information and education value, right? Doulas provide evidence based information about labor and delivery options, helping people make informed decisions and dispel childbirth related fear. It's super important because at the end of the day, you need to understand what's normal, what's not. Now, of course, there's variations and things happen, but you have to understand, have at least a basis of what to expect so you're able to kind of plan and say, hey, I'm okay with this or that or whatever the case may be. It's hard to set preferences for things that you aren't aware of. So just that awareness piece is really important. Then when it comes to partner support, I hear so often, I'm like, oh, well, you have a doula. You don't need me. That is the furthest from the truth. We do not replace partners. Doulas support the birthing person's partner, actually, whether that be mom, dad, husband, wife, your other support people, your primary support. We're here to support them as well, providing guidance and helping them be just more actively involved in the process overall. So I get a lot of dads that tell me all the time, like, I just feel so much more comfortable for my prenatals because I get in there. I'm telling dads like, hey, y'all are invited to any of our prenatals or anything that we do, so I can teach you because you're better for her when you have an awareness and know what to do and know where to jump in. Because a lot of dads are like, I just don't know what to do. I would help. I want to help. I just don't know what to do. So a lot of times they get the bad rap of just being a fly on the wall or just being there or they're asleep or they're on the game. I'm sure you've seen things where people are taking pictures of guys just kind of being there and not serving a purpose. But ultimately that boils down to them not knowing what to do, right? So ultimately, that is where we bridge that gap and just making sure everybody is aware of what they can do, how they can serve, because we're all here trying to achieve the same goal: healthy mama, healthy baby. So ultimately, as a doula, we are nurturers, and these are just different ways that we nurture at different stages. So, of course, under that pregnancy stage, we are preparing, we're facilitating preparation and that education, establishing a relationship of trust and support, and helping parents adjust to changes in their lives. When it comes to labor, same thing, offering those comfort measures, help manage those labor pains and any discomforts you may be having, and in pregnancy as well. That definitely is something I can see helping bodies just adjust to the changes, the stretching, the growing. We do that in pregnancy too. But providing reassurance, encouragement, and just a calm presence. Because sometimes it can just be a lot. It's a lot of information, a lot of things going on, a lot of external stimuli. So sometimes you just need that constant, steadfast person that's just the calm in the storm. And that's literally what your doula is. We, again, help partners feel more involved and prepared to ensure they are comfortable and helpful. Because I know me, if mom and has told me she wants you hands on during that birth, I'm like, okay, dad, come on, let's she's feeling some back labor. Let's do some counter pressure. Let's help loosen up these hips. Oh, her hamstrings are tight. Let's loosen these up. And it's a tag team. It's not a, oh, you aren't doing anything. No, we're gonna work together. Come on, dad. So empowering him is helping the whole atmosphere just be more cohesive because she's happy because what she wanted is happening. She wanted him hands on. Of course, he's responsible for getting the baby in there. So he is going to be instrumental in helping baby to get out. So then postpartum, nurturing the parents, their bond. Sometimes she may need to just sit and skin to skin with her baby, but she's worried about the dishes in the sink or the load of clothes that needs to be switched from the washing machine to the dryer. Because sometimes we are good about getting them in there, and then it may be 3 to 5 business days before they get switched over, and another one before they get folded and put away. So a doula in postpartum can come and help switch that load out, wash those dishes, those pumping parts, help you store your breast milk. You pump this milk, you don't want it to go to waste, but we only have 2 arms. We're trying to do all of the things. So it's an extra set of arms. You might need someone to just hold the baby so you can catch a nap or take a shower or what have you. So we are useful in that way to where we're able to listen, see what the needs are, see what she's struggling with or where the gaps are and fill them. And then when it comes to more of a physical support, during birth, things are constantly shifting. What feels amazing one moment may make someone cringe the next. So we're interpreting all of that information. We're seeing, like, okay, she's at this stage. So, okay, she may be getting hotter now. She might be in transition. So, transition, she may be getting hot. So we know fan, she may need a fan now to kind of have those anticipatory way of meeting those needs. Like, okay, I see you're in this stage. Her temperature, she might start getting nauseous now in transition. So let's go ahead and get some of those puke bags that I call them puke bags. Or let's go ahead and get some alcohol swabs so she can smell something to help calm that nausea down. So just having an awareness of the process of labor, we know where you are and we can kind of get in there physically to help you, whether they be touch, positioning, breath work. And transition can be very intense. So in that moment, there may be a time for me to kind of get face to face with you and help you to just slow down. Like, I know this is intense, but help her just refocus and recenter. And then when it comes to the elements, that's that hot or cold. And she may go back and forth between she's hot, she's cold, she might be shivering, and she feel like she's freezing, but she's hot. And just being able to explain, okay, those are the labor shakes. That's hormonal, so she doesn't feel like I feel like I'm crazy. I'm so hot, but I'm shivering. So a lot of moms think something is wrong with them. And I'm like, that's normal. Those are your hormones taking over. So just those little tidbits of things and being in a know can help so much with a person going through something, especially for the first time, not realizing what's happening to their body. Excuse me. Oh. And then on an emotional side, just having somebody there with you. The path to birth and motherhood are winding ones. Having a trained professional who is aware of the process can make you feel less unsure when the twists and turns come. Because one thing is for sure, we know the baby's going to get here, but we don't always know exactly how, right? I tell all of my clients, when it comes time to give birth, it's like rolling dice. We can absolutely hope for the best, but will the best happen every time? We don't know. So we have to prepare for that. And then being a doula, you're that steadfast emotional support through whatever may happen. Because that can be a level of grief when things don't go as you hope that they would. So helping to process those emotions, those feelings, it can be overwhelming. So just having that person to have a strong voice to coach someone to keep going, or even a small voice encouraging to relax when needed. And sometimes moms don't like to be told to relax. Sometimes you just need that touch. That's where that physical side comes in, of or just a hug, something subtle where it's not like relax. And that could be a trigger for some people. Like, I can't. Trying to relax, like, relax. How am I supposed to relax? So you really have to build that rapport and get to know who you're supporting so you can know how to best show up for them emotionally. Because some people get a little mean when they get into pain, or, it's a lot of things going on hormonally. So you have to have tough skin, and to know it's not anything against you. She probably loved you yesterday. And she'll love you once this baby is out. But in this moment, she just hates life right now. She wants this to be over. So emotionally, you have to be emotionally sound within yourself too, as a doula, to support people, because that can be heavy. I tell people all the time, it's not for everybody. You really have to have like the wet duck syndrome. And I teach my dads the same thing. Like, you have to pretend you're a wet duck. So everything that comes, it's going to slide right off of your slippery wet back, and we're going to act like it never happened, because she's not herself. She's not herself right now. But just hearing them, being able to validate their feelings and just hold space, it makes all the difference. And then, of course, when it comes to that educational, informational support, that is the super, super, super important part, because throughout pregnancy, doulas are like human Google. Like, we not responsible for knowing everything for you, but being able to direct you to find information is super important, right? So that's something that is different from having a provider, because if you are pregnant or if you had a child already, those visits aren't but 10 to 15 minutes, maybe. You may actually be in the waiting room longer than your appointment may be. So it's hard to get questions answered and get an understanding in 10 to 15 minutes. So your doula comes in as a way to be that listening ear to see, okay, the doctor said this. You may comprehend it a completely different way than it was intended, but he didn't really have time to reiterate or to help you to understand. So as the doula, I'm able to facilitate that understanding and that comprehension to make the medical jargon make sense overall. And then just little simple things. Sometimes I've had moms like, is it normal to be so gassy? Like to ask those questions they may not want to say out loud, especially if they maybe have a male provider. It's like, I don't really want to say this out loud. And I'm like, he's your doctor. Why not? Literally, if they're delivering your baby, they're going to see you from the inside out. There's no such thing as TMI. But sometimes just having somebody that you can say those things that might be embarrassing or something of that nature helps as well. But when it comes to birth and postpartum, I am constantly seeking, of course, the newest research on all anything available options because things change all the time and understanding the importance of them. Like when it comes to Pitocin, a lot of times people get scared because they'll Google things and the worst case scenario will come up. And sometimes you have to dig through some of that information and vet your sources. And as the doula, that's some of the things that we do because we're looking for evidence-based information often. So when we support, we're bringing with that non-judgmental piece answers for not just you, but for your families. I have a lot of grandmas that are like, okay, when I had my babies, we did this. This is different now. So helping intergenerationally as well, because if this is the new grandma, she's going to be around. She needs to be aware of the new things as well. So she needs an understanding of, okay, when I had my babies, we put Carnation's milk and fed our babies with Carnation's milk. Like, why we can't do that now? So a lot of times, just helping that can prevent a lot of the intergenerational frustration that can happen postpartum just from helping to establish a sense of awareness. Like we don't do that anymore because we have X, Y, and Z. You don't need cereal in the milk anymore. It's nutritionally empty. It provides nothing. So sometimes just having the why behind things can help grandmas a lot get on board so they're not as pushy. Because I hear that all the time. Like my mom is just wearing me down. She want me to do this and she want me to do that. And it's conflicting with the information that they're being given professionally. So being able to kind of help the tension, that intergenerational tension comes in under this informational support as well, because we're able to provide that support to the whole family. So we're all on one accord. Even when it comes down to things like vaccinations and things of that nature, I always tell my moms, if you are going to vaccinate your child, be weary of the vaccination status of the people that'll be around your baby. Because if you're following the schedule to vaccinate and it's not time for a particular vaccination and you have grandma or auntie who's around and helping you care for baby that's not vaccinated, that's a pain point, right? That can become a source of an issue. So being aware of the people that's around you's vaccination status, so all that information and education falls under that support that your doula would be able to provide, not to diagnose, but it's just to help bring awareness and to get you and your family talking, especially prenatally, because the time to have those conversations is while you are pregnant, not while baby's already here. Because we don't want mom worrying about those types of things and inducing anxiety, like, oh my God, I don't know if she's had her Tdap. I don't know if she's had her flu shot, especially those who give birth in the winter. I had 2 winter babies. So I can contest to it is stressful. Every sniffle, you're like, oh my God, are they sick? They're gonna get my baby sick. Because we don't know. A sniffle can be so much now. Somebody can sneeze and have their nose running and have COVID. And now it's not COVID you have to worry about, COVID or flu. It could be the measles. That's something that was once eradicated and it's back now. We're seeing cases of measles resurfacing because people are deciding they don't want to vaccinate anymore. So things that we once eradicated are coming back. And that can be problematic. So you need to be cognizant of those that you're around and their status, and because it can affect you directly. So that's my little my little soapbox about the vaccinations. I'm pro-choice. Whatever you decide to do, do that. However, you have to have an awareness with the decision that you make with your body. So this is a like a little demonstration of like some of the information. I try to put things and make it more digestible. So we might use acronyms like brain. So brain is the one that I teach my clients to help them make decisions. So when you're making a decision or you're faced with a decision, if you are to make an informed decision, you should be able to meet all of these points. Do you know the benefits? Okay, so if they say, "Hey, we want to go ahead and start some pitocin," what would be the benefit? How would this be beneficial for me to start or to consent to pitocin starting now? Right? What would be the risk of me agreeing to this? Are there any alternatives? Because sometimes if you don't ask, they won't tell you, right? They have this much time and this much information. So we have to be intentional and ask those questions until we get the answer and we have a level of comprehension so we can make those informed decisions. And then also, what does your intuition say? Do you feel good about this? Because sometimes somebody can suggest something to you and it's just not in alignment with what you wanted or what your desires are for your birth. So you have to kind of go inward. How does this feel? How is this sitting in my spirit? And then sometimes nothing. Our bodies know what to do, and sometimes we just need time to do it. So sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, I just want to see what my body does. I don't want to do anything additional right now. I just want some more time. You absolutely have the right to do that. But often that's not told or presented. So a lot of moms assume they just have to succumb to whatever the staff is doing. And ultimately, they may be doing something that's more convenient for them versus what you may want to do. Your best interest is at the forefront, but not necessarily your best interest the way you may want it to be. So, this is a way to teach moms to just amplify their voice and to just be more intentional with their experiences. And another thing when it comes to your birth support is you may be pushed to do a birth plan, right? They're great. Birth plans serve major purposes. At the surface, a birth plan is a written document that outlines a family's preference for labor, delivery, and immediate postpartum. It covers things like pain management, right? Natural techniques versus epidural or whatever other pain management you decide to use. Your environment. Do you want those bright lights? Now they have some good lighting in the hospital, but that's not necessarily what you want beaming over you while you're laboring and you're trying to go inward and center yourself. So you might want more dim lighting. You can't necessarily have candle lighting, depending on if you're in a hospital, what have you. But you might want like some little LED tea lights or something of that nature, just to set an ambiance for whatever type of mood that you're going for. Then the external stimuli outside of the lighting, the sound. Are you okay with the beep beep beeping of the monitors and things of that nature? You can request for your nurses to turn that down because some people are very overstimulated by sounds, especially multiple sounds, right? And you literally have a monitor for your blood pressure, you have baby's heart rate being tracked, your contractions. And for some moms, that many external stimuli at one moment can overwhelm them. So if you know too many sounds around you overwhelm you, you can ask for those monitors to be turned down. So completely off to where you don't hear it at all or where it's low. And just like the lighting, you can have music in your room if there's a specific type of genre or song or what have you. I've seen people do chants. I've seen people that like hypnobirthing and they have like the little hypno sounds going. Whatever helps you reach your destination of getting baby here safe and you be safe. Hey, if it works, you like it, do it, right? Newborn care is another thing. This is the way when everything is happening at once, you've already put it out there. Hey, I want X, Y, and Z. They'll ask you eyes and thighs when it comes to a newborn baby. Are you okay with the erythromycin in the eyes? The vitamin K and hepatitis B goes in the thigh. So if you already have those preferences, they don't even have to ask you those questions while you are marveling at this beautiful new baby you just had. Because a lot of times, especially the first time around, it's like this shock, like, I just had a baby. Oh my God. So in that moment, you may not be thinking of answering questions, right? You're in this blissful moment. You just went through the most hardest thing of your life. And you finally get that blissful moment. And they're like, what? Do I want to do what? Some moms are just disoriented. So by having it on your birth plan, you can get ahead of that. So ultimately, a birth plan is a best case scenario document, really. It assumes the body and the baby will follow a linear path, which also not always the case. While useful, it can sometimes lead to a sense of failure if the plan has to change for medical safety. So I like for all my moms to know everything is an option, right? And it's a tool if you need it at any point, even if you had planned to have an unmedicated birth, because mothers love that. Oh, I want to give birth natural. I want an unmedicated natural birth. And I guess it sounds good to say that until you actually get in there. And they're like, you know what? This is a lot. I want to try something else. And a lot of my job is helping mom to understand that is okay. Whatever you need in this moment, it's available to you. I just want you to be aware that you have the option in the first place and that you can utilize it at any point. So if that plan changes, it's okay. It's okay. And that's what a lot of that issue when it comes to a birth plan. People feel like, okay, well, I said I wanted to do this, so I have to stick to it. That's not the case. We don't ever want you in a situation where you're suffering. Suffering is not the goal, right? We want a healthy baby, healthy mom. And if at any point what you thought you wanted changes, that's okay. So just reassuring you, all you moms out there, especially those who are due soon, like it's okay for your plan to change, right? It's okay. It's okay. Everything is a tool, and whatever tool you need to utilize to have the best experience overall, please feel free to utilize. And we also often feel trapped with that, right? Like, oh, the birth plan says this, so I have to do that. No, that's not the case. And because a lot of times people want to feel safe. And sometimes to feel safe, they want to stick to a plan. But that is the issue sometimes with planning. So I always suggest like make a plan, make it plain, put, what you would like and things of that nature, but don't be rigid towards it, right? Be have it hold your plan with an open hand, not with a closed fist, right? Because with that open hand, things change. We're able to pivot. And as a doula, we help with that pivot. We help you to navigate the unplanned things. We know you might have planned for that unmedicated natural birth, but now we may have saw some decelerations that are happening a little bit more often, and now they're not coming back up. So now we need to pivot for baby safety. It's okay. We have all these tools and these medical advancements so we can save lives. So when it comes to a matter of saving your life, it's always best to do what's needed than to lose a life because we're rigid to a plan. Then when it comes to the overall safety of it, when a person feels watched and protected, their body releases the oxytocin that's necessary for labor. So sometimes just that reassurance that it's okay, even if it's something that's not on this plan, long as the ultimate goal of healthy mama, healthy baby, there are some moms that will relax. I have seen moms who were stalling. And then as soon as we had this talk about, okay, what is it that we need to do at this point? How are you feeling? Like, I'm just hurting. I need this. I need that. Okay, so which one would you like to try first? But my plan says, okay, we're in a pivot moment. That's fine. How do you want to pivot? And then labor will just pick right back up. She really just needed that reassurance in that moment that it's okay if you need to pivot. So ultimately, as your doula, right? So the ultimate thing is to help you transform your mind. So that's where a lot of those issues that can cause labor stalls, that can cause anxiety, that blood pressure monitor that's going off every so often to get those higher readings from that anxiety of like, oh, I plan to do X, Y, and Z, right? So we have to move from birth planning to setting intentions for our birth. Because something that's intentional, we have an awareness that it can change. So I may intend to have a unmedicated natural birth, but ultimately I want a alive baby. I want to be here to raise my baby. So whatever needs to be done to reach that, I have that open hand. I have that plan that I made of the preferences that I would like, but the hand is open if I need to pivot. That plan is external of what I want them to do, right? And that intention is more internal, how I want to feel ultimately. Like your core values is what really kind of propel when it comes to setting your intentions. So ultimately, you have to really go inward It can also serve as like your emotional North Star. If the intention is, I want to feel empowered and heard, then even if a C-section becomes necessary, that intention can still be met, right? Overall, because you still felt empowered. You can still feel empowered and heard in a cesarean because you might can say, hey, I want a clear drape instead of the blue one. I want to be able to see. I want to be able to um, be awake versus being put to sleep. So you can still have a voice even when the worst case scenario comes up sometimes. And then ultimately, let's see, you can still be the one to make the final call and making the decisions. So you can still have your music playing just in a different room now. You're not in labor delivery, you may be in the OR, and that's okay. And you can still be the protagonist of your own story. So when it comes to that mindset, right? You have to, if your intentions like, I trust my body, or I'm open to the flow of labor, those things allow for flexibility. It's about the sovereignty and maintaining your power regardless of the medical outcome. So a birth plan again is just a paper, right? Your doula is the living advocate for those intentions. We plan for the best, but we attend to the experience, right? Because overall, we want a healthy mama and a healthy baby. And this is just how your doula bridges the gap for you. So that is what we are here for, right? We want to bridge that gap. So this is the acronym that I use. I love an acronym, y'all. It helps to kind of remember all of the things. So when it comes to support, that continuous physical and emotional support, right? I'm pulling up my, so I can go over some of these with y'all because I want y'all to take this back. So when it comes to your birth plan, it tells you what you want versus the doula reminds you of who you are when labor gets intense, right? So then when it comes to the advocacy, the birth plan says cannot add your birth plan just can't ask you any continual questions like why. Whereas your doula can ask the brain question, right? Are we aware of the benefits? How comfortable are you with this idea or with this new suggestion from your doctor? Because everything is a suggestion until it's not, right? They're there to practice medicine and they're trained to mitigate risk, but you are the expert of your body. So they are suggesting based on their expertise what they think you should do in this moment. It's up to you to kind of go inward to say, okay, I'm in agreement, or oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that, right? So that advocacy piece. And then F, fact checking, right? We want to make sure that things are evidence based. I've heard so many doctors that'll say, oh, no, you can't eat during labor. And it's like, oh, well, why can't she? The studies actually show that that causes more distress. So she's not here for a surgery. Now, in a surgical procedure, no, you can't eat, but we're not here for a surgery. So the goal is to keep the stomach empty in case that things escalate to a surgery. We're not here for a surgery, right? So she wants to eat. So those types of things you don't have to necessarily put on your birth plan because those are things that you have control over. You can pack some snacks in your bag. You can have like some little things to nibble on. You might not be hungry. You might just want a little something for that energy to keep going. So by all means, I'm not saying go against medical advice, but what I'm saying is take certain things with a grain of salt, and you really have to go inwards and think of what it is you want. Like, what are your core values? What is your goal? What are your intentions that you're setting, right? So fact check a lot of times. Sometimes it's okay to push back respectfully on certain things by asking questions. So you just have a deeper understanding of why they're suggesting or wanting to do certain things. And that comes from that fact checking. And then empowering, just being able to uplift your voice, reassuring you, making sure you believe in yourself and what you want. Because sometimes if you're not sure, you're easily swayed. So helping you have that insurance so you know, like, okay, hey, this is what I want, right? And just turning that medical event back into your sacred rite of passage. Because ultimately, this is a very spiritual, physical, emotional, like it's on so many different levels giving birth to a child. My granny used to tell me all the time that's the closest to death that you become in the living is giving birth. It's a major event, and it has become medicalized. But since we give birth in hospital now, but you can take ownership of that space and call that back to you. This is something that we naturally do. We were created to procreate and things of that nature, but how we do so is in our control. We can work with our medical teams and our medical providers to make sure we can have the experiences that we want. You can still have an empowered, serene birth in a hospital. You can have those at home. You can have that in a birth center. It's basically you taking control of your atmosphere, claiming that space, right? Asking those questions that you need. Speaking up when things aren't right, addressing things, naming something. If someone was being dismissive, naming that, right? If somebody was being condescending, naming that. Because ultimately, when you claim your space, everybody in it has to be conducive to what your goal is. So if you say, I want an empowered, serene birth, everybody needs to be in agreement with that and on one accord. So if you say I want a serene birth and then somebody's over here loudly laughing on their phone, that's not okay. And we can name that in that moment, like, hey, that's distracting right now. I need you to kind of, bring that back now. I'm trying to keep the atmosphere serene. And I don't mind as your doula, like, hey, we can't have that right now. So that's okay. That's where I'm bridging that gap for you. You might not want to tell your mother-in-law that she's disturbing you, but I will. You may want to tell, your child's father, like, I know you're tired, but so am I. I can't sleep neither. I want you over here rubbing me, or mom having back labor. Help me. And you may not feel comfortable saying that to him. I will. Your doula is able to fill those gaps for you ultimately. So that is my little spiel when it comes to how doulas transform your birth, because ultimately we help you prepare. We help you to make up in your mind, to transform your mind, to set intentions, not just a plan. So, in order to make that plan, you have to have an awareness. So, all of those things are how doulas show up. So, as you can see, that's where all that value comes from, right? We're able to help have all those different outcome changes because it's a lot of different things that we do. And it starts early on. It's not, now there are volunteer models and things of that nature where you may only meet a doula while you're in labor. But I tell people all the time, if you have the opportunity, please don't try to go at this alone. Again, this is not something, excuse me, that's a luxury. It's a right. So regardless of where you are on a tax bracket, there's a doula for you. If you are a Medicaid recipient, there are several states that it is a built-in benefit, and then there are some that is a value-added benefit. Where I live in North Carolina, it's value-added. So we have different managed care organizations that order it as like an extra service to their members, and it looks different. So definitely check your resources and see what's available to you in your area. There are doulas who do sliding scales. There are some doulas that are within different programs that provide grants and things of that nature. There are several avenues now to make sure you have the support that you need. So please don't ever feel like it's out of reach, out of budget. If I can help anybody who is looking for a doula, or anything of that nature, I'll give y'all my contact information at the end where you're able to reach out to me, and I'll look into some of my networks to see if I can connect you to somebody or to some resources where you're able to find doulas or locate. But definitely check your insurance companies, whatever insurance you have, because there are even some private insurances, employer provided insurances that are providing doulas. Target, Walmart, they provide doulas for their employees. Amazon. Then there are some companies that have what's called third party maternal benefits. So they would go through something like a Stork or Carrot or what have you. So it really depends on the plan that your provider, or not your provider, your employer provides for you. So definitely reach out to your member services, your HR department. And if you can qualify for Medicaid in your state, reach out. I know here in our state, Medicaid expansion in 2023 made it to where so many millions of people now have more options, or thousands of people have more options to get Medicaid than they did before. And then with that expansion, it also expanded pregnancy Medicaid to 1 year. So before, once you hit 6 weeks, you got dropped, right? And some moms, that will be the last time they get care for God knows how long. So now you're able to be cared for up to a year. That includes mental health, that includes dental, vision. So you're able to still see your provider, still check on yourself, because birth and pregnancy affects our whole body. I didn't need glasses until after I had kids. Did not wear glasses until after I had my second child. So a lot happens to our bodies. So I wanted to leave us some time just in case anybody had any questions or anything I can answer for you. Anybody? You could come off mute if you have any questions or anything.
Yep, you can come off mute if you do have any questions.
And I don't think, I can't see the chat, so I don't know if anybody put anything in the chat.
Okay. All right. If you do want to drop something in the chat, you can.
Okay.
Any questions or anything like that?
I know it's on the spot. So again, I'll give y'all my contact information on the next slide. So if you think of something later or mommy brain got you, you're like, oh, I did actually have a question. You will have me to reach out to as a resource. I'm happy to be that for you.
I do. I don't have a question, but I do want to say thank you for this. This was like really cool and a lot of information that I didn't know. And this is my first child that I'm pregnant with. So this is really cool. So thank you for doing this.
Oh,
Thank you for attending. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. And just thank you, Ms. Rita. Like, she's the mastermind, man, behind this and Mommy Care.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
For that. Is it Garcia?
It's Gracia.
Gracia. Oh, that's pretty.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you for that.
Okay, we got one question in the chat. Let me see here. Octavia. Oh, very informative. I'm having twins. Okay, Octavia.
Ooh, double.
Woo! Congrats to you.
Yes, congrats.
Congrats. Okay.
Double for your trouble. That's what they call it. Double for your trouble.
Twins.